Tel Aviv. Welcome to my channel. My name is Tanya, and today I will be with my friend Nathaniel, who worked as a tour guide in Israel. Let me know if you can hear me, if you can see me. With that, the weather is not really perfect today, so that's why we are hiding in a cafe. But I'm going outside, and as some of you know, I did this tour a week ago. Let me know if you joined it. So it will be a little bit different today because I'm doing it during the daytime. So you'll be able to see everything. And the other bonus is that my friend is going to join me. And also I'm going to get some new information, and today I'm going to share my experience in Israel in the last couple of weeks. So I'm not able to see the chat for now. Hello Marty, hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope you enjoy Tel Aviv. Let me know if you've been here today or not. So great, I can see the chat, everything works. My name is Tanya. If you have never joined my tours, let me introduce myself. I'm a professional tour guide. I've been working as a tour guide for over 10 years. Why am I in Israel? Because I'm an Israeli, and I'm going to tell you more about me coming here these days, during these days. And here's Nathaniel, who met actually 10 years ago. We made Aliyah, meaning moved to Israel around the same time. We're still friends, and he worked in Israel as a tour guide. Yeah. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hey, so my name is Nathaniel. I'm originally from France, and as Tanya said, I made Aliyah, which means come to live in Israel as an Israeli citizen 10 years ago. And I worked also as a tour guide. But now I opened the board game bar.
Yeah, he has his board game bar that he can tell you about, but today we are going to start with the history of Israel, with some important monuments, and the one that I can see is right in front of us. It's the first monument that was created by the artist old Nahum Gutman, who's a Moldovan Jew, and this monument was created in 1979. It's not the original place. They moved it here just around 15 years ago. What are we able to see here? Nathaniel, would you like to tell our viewers about the monument?
Of course. So you have a set of 3 mosaics actually. So the one on the right is the south of Tel Aviv, which is called Yafo, and it's the original neighborhood. The neighborhood is around 4,000 years old, so it's like the origin of the city was Yafo, and everything was built there. And you can find history of Yafo in the past. Also, like for instance, Napoleon came to Yafo, etc.
Yeah, so Yafo or Jafar, this is the original part of Tel Aviv, and it wasn't Tel Aviv back then. Tel Aviv was kind of like a suburb, and later on it turned into the city. And we are going to tell you how. So this is the first pillar, and the one in the middle.
So in the middle is the first big buildings and road of Tel Aviv. So Tel Aviv is located northern than Yafo, and what you see here in the middle is actually where we are right now, where we stand. We stand in the corner between Herzl Street and Rothschild Street.
Yes.
But you can see the one on line like this is Herzl, and the horizontal one is Rothschild.
So Herzl and Rothschild Streets both are last names, and we are going to tell you about the names of the streets. But if you know a thing or two about Jewish culture and the foundation of Israel, it certainly starts with Herzl. Herzl is the founder of Zionist movement in the end of the 19th century. He was a Jew from Austria-Hungary, and this is how many Jews from all around the world, but mainly from Eastern Europe and Germany, started coming here. And let's talk about the last pillar?
So the last pillar is only a scene from the Bible with Jonah and the whale. So it's a giant whale that eats Jonah. It's just a part of the Bible, so it's not an actual a place here.
Okay, so this place, as I said, originally wasn't here in Rothschild, so we can see here it's written Rothschild 3. It was in Bialik Street, which is also a very well-known and popular area in Tel Aviv. And the artist himself, I'm going to show you his photo. So I've prepared actually a presentation for you as well. That's him. He became a pretty influential. Well, in general, everyone who came here in the beginning, they all impacted Israeli culture and Israeli life. So Natalia wants
we are
to
now
tell
on
you.
the Rothschild Boulevard, and you have this marker on the floor, which is the Rothschild Trail or Independence Trail.
Yes.
And most of the buildings we're going to see today are located through this street, so it helps to know where to go.
Okay, can you hold it for a second? I'm going to show you some brochures for the Independence Trail. So I took all the brochures that I was able to find in Tel Aviv, and this is, I guess, I mean, most of the people know about Jaffa. Jaffa is probably one of the best known tourist locations, and I actually did a tour with my great colleague Anna Levina. But here's the Independence Trail in Russian, in English, and the White City. So I'm just going to show you how it looks on the map. Let's move. I'm just going to get the map for you, and we are going to yes, so here's the Independence Trail. It's written here in English, and look how beautiful it is. I really like the design of this map. So these are some of the places that we are going to cover today. We are going to see the first kiosk, we are going to see the monument to the founders of Tel Aviv, the first mayor Dizengoff, and this is what we've just seen, Nahum Gutman fountain. I really like this kind of like style. It's kind of artistic in general. Tel Aviv is very artistic compared to many other places in the world. Here we see where the beginning of Tel Aviv is. Even though, I mean, Israel doesn't seem for many as I don't know, like a new country. When you think of Jerusalem, at least when I had a conversation with my dad, he was pretty surprised that in Tel Aviv all the buildings are kind of new, but they are. Tel Aviv was founded only in 1909, which is also can be surprising for those who think that, well, there was nothing before 1948, so it's somewhere in between. And Natalia, would you like to tell the viewers how Tel Aviv was founded? Because this was a lottery. It wasn't like any other city that, you know, it was founded historically. So
basically people were living in Yafo back then, before 1909, and everybody was concentrated there. Like a lot of people were living in a small area. There was more and more people, and the size of the city was not evolving. So at some point, the Jewish population living there, because yes, as Tanya said, there was Jews there at this time. There was always has been Jews there since the Hebrews in the older times, and at some point the Jews wanted to have a new place, starting from scratch, telling, okay, we will start from scratch, we'll have nothing, but at least it will be ours, because they were like they were, you know, surrounded by they were living among a population that they couldn't really identify as, and they wanted to, you know, build from scratch. So they came in the north of Yafo, where we stand right now actually, and they decided to share the land between families. So 66 families arrive here, and in order to make it the most fair possible, they would do like a lottery between the number of the family, like family number 25, and the number of the land, and they would they would like share the land like this in order to be the most fair possible, which is a lottery. So they would gather and be like, okay, family number 8 goes to land 31.
So yeah, so this is actually the picture from 1909, as I said, the beginning of everything in Tel Aviv. And this picture was taken by a Jewish man from the Russian Empire. So there will be a lot of influence from the Russian Empire, and the foundation of Israel in general is actually closely related to the Jews from the Russian Empire. Since Nathaniel is French, I have to point at Institut Français, and in the last, I think, like 10 years, there were more and more Jews moving to Israel, right?
Yes, so actually the movement of Jews from around the world to Israel usually follows the rise of anti-Semitism. So you had, for instance, in the early 90s, after the fall of USSR, you had already many Russians who came to Israel, but not so much for anti-Semitic reason actually, but more for economics. But you had also, like, after the decolonization of the Muslim world in the 60s, a lot of Jews were persecuted in these countries, and many moved to France because of the language, and many moved to Israel. And now, in the last 15 years, with the rise of anti-Semitism in Europe, you have a lot of Jews who come, so you can see it actually here. Many French Jews are coming to Israel to live.
So John, thank you for your questions. I'm sorry for doing this tour during football time, but Sunday it's a working day, but at the same time, this is the day when Nathaniel doesn't work at his bar, so he was able to help me. But I think this tour will be available after, so if you missed something or you want to re-watch it, you can. And yeah, thanks for reminding me about tips. I mean, it's a tip supported tour, so if you want to support my work and if you want me to do more videos about Israel, because actually I'm preparing a video, and it takes more time to prepare videos actually than doing virtual tours, so your support will be really appreciated. As you know, I don't get any money from YouTube or any other platform, so I do this as a tip supported tour. You can find these links in the description. And here we are going to show you another important landmark. So it's written here Europa kiosk, but this is the first kiosk, the first well-known kiosk, and I'm going to show you another famous photo. Now, there are not that many photos from the beginning of the 20th century, because basically they were not that much. So let's take a look at this one, and you see kiosk. So this is the original one, and this photo is from 1910. This is not the original kiosk actually, it was rebuilt, but yeah, still many people consider it as the first one, the one and only. Yeah.
So yes, back in the time, only 100 years ago, it was sand here, and you had like a few roads, and it's actually interesting to be able to see the actual photos of a city, but it's now like as big as not big, but very, very modern and developed, etc. And think that everything has been made in only 100 years ago, and you wouldn't be able to have the same type of photo completely empty with one building of Paris or Moscow, because it was a bigger time of construction. But because Tel Aviv was only built, as you say, 100 years ago, we had photographs by then, and you can see photographs of the city.
So we have a bike lane. Bikes are pretty popular in Israel, and you know, every time I step on the bike lane, people say, well, you have to move, like they sometimes can get angry at you. If I have to go home, unfortunately, yes, I have to go home, like and you know, Tel Aviv, I mean, I don't know what is safer now, Tel Aviv or Moscow, but yeah, I mean, if you subscribe to me on Instagram, you probably have seen that we also have sirens probably 2 days a week. So there are also rockets coming from Lebanon. So yeah, I mean, I'm kind of like holding 2 passports, which not the best during this time. Oh, this is the tourist information center. It's generally closed. Many places closed in Israel around like 1:30, 3 p.m. So you see, it's also written Independence Trail. So what we are following This is the city map. Tel Aviv is a pretty small city, so again, we have Old Jaffa Port just to show you. Like, this is by the sea. We are staying in the Surf Tel Aviv, which is not known as the best area. This is where we have like maybe migrants, workers coming, refugees, but it's an interesting place, and I'm going to talk about it in my video. So if you are interested, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Everything is pretty close, so like I can go to many places within like 30 minutes. Let's see what we have in here. Bike rentals and tours. So there are some about tours. As you can see, there's a huge gay community. I haven't seen this map yet, so could be interesting. And if Russian authorities watch my video, I think this is it. I would be banned from Russia. Actually, you know, like a few years ago, there were some gay tours in Russia. Like there were some guys doing it. Goodman Museum, Jaffa tours. Yeah, Jaffa tours are really big and popular. There's another touring map. We can see what's included in here. But as you can see, also the number one thing to explore, it's the Independence Trail. And there are already many official languages in Israel. Well, there are actually two official languages, Hebrew and Arabic. Not many people know that Arabic is also an official language, but Russian became sort of the third official language, because if you call a bank or any other place, you'll hear Russian. There are so many Russians, and you see French, chemin de l'indépendance. Well, there is also like Chinese, Arabic, but other languages. Yeah, and Neve Tzedek. Neve Tzedek is also where Tel Aviv starts. I'm going to show you some of the places in my video about Tel Aviv. Let's see some of the souvenirs with the Tel Aviv being non-stop city and the streets. Yeah, I wanted to tell you about streets. So you see Rothschild Boulevard is also one of the main places to come. King David, Herzl, and many are named after famous people. Well, Rothschild is obviously known as one of the richest men in the world, the one who supported Jews, Zionists. Would you like to tell us a few words about Tel Aviv, why it's like a great city? Why would you recommend people to come here?
Come visit us.
Any reasons why you think it's the best city in the world, or what would you recommend? Okay, what would you recommend people to visit in Tel Aviv?
Well,
Rothschild Boulevard is the best.
The weather is great, and you have the really nice architecture here, and nightlife, and restaurants, and the people here are amazing.
I agree. I absolutely agree with you. People are really friendly. Thank you very much. Yeah, I really like actually like the souvenirs. They're also pretty creative. Here we have David Ben-Gurion, the founder, the first prime minister, Golda Meir. So we're going to hipster story. So now we will go to one of the most important places in the Israeli history, the Independence Hall.
And again, we're following the Independence Trail as we mentioned at the beginning of the tour.
Yes, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. That's why we're doing, you know, the virtual tour. So this is the Independence Hall. I mean, it's not very impressive for now because of the reconstruction, but believe it or not, this is where the story begins in 1948, and this was the house of Mayor Dizengoff. Why did they choose like just this place and not any other? Imagine, it's just a new country. There was not much. There were not that many ceremonial places. This
looks like just a building in construction. It's not in construction, it's actually in renovation. And this building used to be only an art gallery, but could be as any art gallery, but it became famous because it's where David Ben-Gurion claimed the state of Israel on May 14th, 1948.
And I want to show you a picture. So that's how it looked like. So if Russians saw this picture, they would say like, well, it's not that impressive, you know. It wasn't a big room, Nothing that special, super ceremonial. But again, this was a very important moment. And who were these people? I think it's quite important for us to mention, since I'm going to say that there were 4 from Austro-Hungary, 2 from Germany. This was just the moment when you see I just stopped to show you the place and the guy was riding a bike. 1 from Denmark, 1 from Yemen, 1 from Poland, 1 from Ottoman Empire, and 27 came from the Russian Empire. Can you imagine? Like, this was the place, the country that was actually founded by mainly Jews from the Russian Empire, and unfortunately many people forget it, even in Israel. When I travel around the world, and I've been to Poland, and many people know that there was one of the biggest communities in the world, and certainly at some point it was the biggest community. But there was also the moment when the biggest Jewish community in the world was in the Russian Empire. And I know that many people who have Jewish heritage actually have relatives coming from the Russian Empire. And
so
here
if you can show again the photo that you have here.
Yes.
You can see that on top,
Just
behind Ben Gurion himself, above, you have a picture here of Theodor Herzl on the wall, who is, as Tanya starting to say, he is the first thinker of modern Zionism. And I think it's important to know about Zionism, because it's one of the words that is the most wrongly used today. So Zionism is a movement of emancipation of Jews, who back then, in the beginning of the 20th century, Jews were living in countries where they were not like in lead and was facing anti-Semitism everywhere. And basically, this person, Theodor Herzl, wanted a country for Jews where Jews could be fully themselves.
So yeah, I mean, it's important to understand Zionism and why Israel was actually founded. So people were coming here even before 1948, even before the end of the Second World War. You know, there is just a misunderstanding in some places. And who were these people? Again, yes, there were many coming from the Russian Empire. Many were coming during the Russian Revolution, and one of them was Mayor Dizengoff. So I've already mentioned that the place, the Hall of Independence, belonged to him. It was turned into a museum later. But in general, if you walk around Israel, you won't actually see monuments to like big leaders, big presidents, prime ministers. Although, when I do tours in Russia or in some other places, and people ask me like, who is this person? I generally say, well, it's probably a military man or an artist or writer. Here it's a bit different because the country is new. So there are always exceptions. And why would we have the first mayor here? He was more than just a mayor. This is the reason. He was more like a community leader. Can you hold it? I just want to share his quote, because he believed that the city was not really about buildings or anything. The city, in his opinion, was more about people. So this is what he said. It's not about the houses, streets, or gardens. That's love, or work and creative, the equality, the freedom, the belief in our power, and the desire to live a life of dignity and self-reliance. And people can love or hate Israel, but this is a country which is not like any other in the Middle East and probably in the world. So yeah, I mean, what makes it different for me is the feeling of community. Do you agree with me? Do you feel like there's a community?
I believe the thing is why people hate Israel. Most of them is because they just don't know. So they have this narrative that we heard a lot, And this narrative is like being pushed just by the numbers, because Jews are 13 million people in the entire world. When you compare it with like Christians or Muslims who are 1.3 billion, it's a ratio of 1 to 100. So at some point people will just go for the mass and won't really try to get their own opinion. It's really hard to go and study and actually know what you're talking about and have to go against people with facts, when people are just, okay, I know because I heard it already 99 times.
So you see, I mean, many people in the world would say like, why wouldn't you live in France? You have the European Union citizenship. Many people dream about Paris. You know, we all know about the TV series Emily in Paris. I'm kidding. But yeah, I mean, you can clearly see that Nathaniel is the type of person who is really into Zionist movement, into supporting Israel, and I think it's kind of interesting to see why Israel attracts so many people from all around the world, and just to hear people's stories. And here are stories of what is happening now. So I just want to show you that all the victims, all the 7th of October, all the hostages are not forgotten. This is just Rothschild Boulevard. There's more, and every bench has stickers. So here we have Ziv and Gali Berman, 26 years old. Yeah, they're brothers. Any place actually you go to, you will see stickers about some of the victims, and it's written all around the place, all around Israel. Bring them home. Many cafes that I see would have inscriptions, bring them home. And it shows that, again, all the victims in Israel are not forgotten. And genuinely, the feeling that I have in Israel, that at least the narrative that every person is important and we are going to fight for every person. And this girl, she's also one of the victims of the 7th of October.
This is Eden. She has been kidnapped on the 7th of October, and she was one of the most famous faces of the hostages, because she was young, innocent, etc. And she has been killed by Hamas members in tunnels after 1 year of captivity. And it reminds us that the tragedy of 7 October has never been stopped. It's not like there was a big attack and then it takes time to recover, because we can't even start recovering because the war is not finished. Since there is hostages, it doesn't make any sense to stop a war when they wouldn't want to release hostages. First, they have to release hostages, and then we can start talking and ceasefire, etc. But who would stop? Who would abandon hostages? I hope that everybody can live in a country where the government will try everything to rescue hostages and not be like, okay, well.
So here we have the monument to the founders of Israel. And by the way, if you don't know Hebrew or you haven't heard about Hebrew, what's interesting is that you read from right to left, which is quite difficult to get used to in the beginning. I speak some Hebrew, but I generally forgot it. So that's why you have the date 1909 on the right, and on the left 1949. 1949 is when the monument was opened. So yeah, that is the reason why you have it this way. And another interesting thing about Hebrew is that you don't have vowels. So this is another reason why it wasn't that easy for me to learn it. But again, if you want, you can learn any language in the world. I'm just but yeah, I mean, it's much easier to learn Spanish, French, if you speak English. So now we have approximately like 10 minutes left, so we will walk around Rothschild Boulevard. That was the beginning of Rothschild. You see, it's just the building on the right side is number 12. So we also want to talk about the architecture of Tel Aviv. Let me know in the comments what do you think about the buildings left and right. There are some that represent eclectic, which, to be honest, is the style that I prefer. But mainly Tel Aviv is considered as the white city. This is the place of avant-garde. And why did it happen like that? Because many Jews were escaping Nazi Germany. They were coming here and they were bringing architectural designs and architectural styles that were popular back there. And why white city? Well, we're in the Middle East, so it's hot most of the time, so it makes sense to have, you know, buildings in white. In terms of the weather, I mean, it's November. It's not super hot. I think it's 20 degrees Celsius today, but yeah, a few days ago, I think yesterday, it was plus 26. Let me know the weather in your place, so we have to wait, let's see, for the traffic lights to cross. So it feels really nice. It's really nice to be here in terms of the weather. Now, try not to talk much about politics in general, because it is kind of sensitive, and I published a post recently on my Facebook channel that I believe people became, let's say, like, not very empathetic, where this is what we miss in general. We need to hear each other, to listen each other, to understand. Oh, let me show you. And this is the hearts. This is the hearts, the message that I'm trying to send to the world. Just to love each other, love, and try to find some common points. Would you like to, Nathaniel, would you like to tell us more about architecture in Tel Aviv, and would you like to compare it to the architecture you have in Paris? What do you like in Tel Aviv? Yeah,
it's very different. First of all, in Tel Aviv we have a lot of building that is from the style Bauhaus. So the Bauhaus style is a German style. So you can wonder why is there some German style in Israel. It doesn't make sense in terms of historical reason, but actually it makes total sense. Because in the 20s, in the 1920s, when the anti-Semitism started in Germany and become like a big thing, you know, it didn't happen in like all of a sudden. It was a progressive rise of anti-Semitism, kind of like what we see today, to be honest. So many German Jews who are living in Germany wanted to leave Germany because they were scary of what would happen, and actually they were right. So also, like, the anti-Semitic movement started to target authors, you know, like thinkers and architects. So many people were in architecture school, and they wanted to flee, and they went to the place where they wanted to have a new renewal, which is here. So they had a empty land, as we explained earlier. In the 20s, Tel Aviv was almost sand and nothing, and they wanted to express what they learned in school, so the Bauhaus style, and they had like a land to do that.
So I want to show you actually how Tel Aviv used to look like in the beginning, because there was literally nothing. They were dunes. So let me show you my presentation. Yes, so that was in the beginning of the 20th century. So they were coming here, leaving everything behind, just create something absolutely new. But what they had hope. And this is also the picture of the Independence Hall. Yes, this is how it used to look like, and this is how it's going to look like. Hopefully, just really soon. And I want to show you Rothschild Boulevard from the top, back in the 30s and now. So it's quite different. So here we have it in 1930, and this is the picture from the top now. So it's really a boulevard, and it's one of the most popular places in Israel. Again, if you come here, it's hard to miss the place. It's in the city center, right?
Yeah.
So there are not that many like boulevards, popular streets. So when there is a big celebration like Purim, I will show you some pictures from Purim in Rothschild Street. Purim is often called like Jewish Halloween, so you can dress in any costume you want. And I've seen people dressed as Torahs, or what were the most interesting costumes that you've seen? Yeah, it takes a lot of time actually to cross
you have a lot
the street.
you have a lot of Mario, you have a lot of Batman, you have everything. Basically, it's like, see it as a carnival, like yeah, like
What was your favorite costume?
what actually I really like is my Mickey holding like a Wonder Woman's hand or something like that, when it's like two person dressing up together.
How would you dress? Let us know in the comments, how would you dress for Purim? Do you have any creative ideas?
Maybe I like to do something related to what's new right now. So when there was a Casa de Papel, money heist,
Yeah.
then you had many people dressing as this. So maybe I think right now the big thing is Arcane show. So
Right,
you would, I
okay,
would dress
okay,
as, one
okay.
of the
You keep
characters.
talking about things that you like. So we have iStore, which is not an official Apple store, right? This is just a reseller, authorized reseller. Yeah, it's written there. On the left side, we have McDonald's. So McDonald's, I would say, is pretty big in Israel, but it's certainly
no.
more.
No,
it's
no,
not
you have
that
like
popular.
4 or 5 in all Tel Aviv.
Yeah, okay, so Nathaniel says it's not that popular, it's not, but it's, can you imagine like McDonald's is in the city center, the main boulevard where all of the big celebrations take place, so it still kind of shows that, you know, it's a decent place and it's cleaner. I think it could be interesting to take a look at McDonald's. I showed McDonald's in Russia, did a virtual tour, you can watch on my channel. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of empty, but it's also a bit more expensive than in some other places. So we can check the prices, you know, when I leave. And look, we have in English, Arabic, Russian, French. What was it? Okay, so we have it in Russian. So we have to write the mobile number, and it's kind of crazy that you have to
No, you don't
write it.
have
Oh,
to.
you can write. I don't want. Let's do it in English, so everyone else will be able to understand. So skip. Let's do it in. I did the exact same video in Russia, so you can compare it. Triple cheeseburger, 27 shekels. Are you able to calculate easily?
I think it's about
$7?
$7.
Okay, $7 for a triple cheeseburger. How much would you pay in your place? So we have Happy Meal, 20.
This is, if you want a big burger, like this one, for instance, is around 14 euros.
14 euros. 14 euros.
And if you want a big
How much
one,
would you pay in France?
11, maybe.
11 euros?
Yeah, now it's
14,
kind of-
there's 11. Okay, in Russia it would be
But
like
if
3
you want
euros.
If you want a big one, XL, with the
Okay.
big potatoes and stuff, it's 65, which is now 16 euros.
Yeah, Tel Aviv is pretty expensive. In 2021, it was recognized as the most expensive city in the world. And I can feel it again, coming from Russia, where everything is like pretty cheap now. In Tel Aviv, things are 3 times the price compared to. So, it's my last day in Tel Aviv. And if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. I see it's also getting dark. I have recorded many videos in Tel Aviv, so hopefully I will have time to do that. If you want to support my work, you enjoyed this experience, you enjoyed this story, you can make contributions on PayPal and buy me a coffee. The links are in the description and in the comments. Yeah, you let me know what you'd be interested in. I still have a few hours to record a video. I'm going back to Moscow, but I'll go through Uzbekistan. So I'm also planning on doing a video about Uzbekistan. It won't be a virtual tour because I have a day there, but so Nathaniel wants to show you the map of top gay places. Well, I've seen this kind of like gay travel guides in some other cities, so it's because, and there is a huge gay community in Tel Aviv. It's the biggest in the Middle East. There is a very big gay pride.
The only one in the Middle East.
The only one, okay. Well, officially it's well known. So since I don't see any comments, I'm going to wrap up the tour. If I missed some of the comments, if I wasn't able to see them for some technical reasons, you can always write them under the video, so I will answer it. And I will be more than happy to see you on my new videos. As I said, I want to do like a big, sort of like a documentary about Tel Aviv, life in general, food, people, songs, with some interviews. Oh, they want to say hi. Okay, some people want to say. Okay, so you can also say thank you, hello. Okay, so as we have seen today, people are pretty friendly and everything. And again, like I can tell you, like there is some kind of like a sense of community, and it's very different, from Russia. So certainly in Russia, if you go to like a place to record a video, some people can get nervous and everything. Today I went to a coffee shop which is considered to be like the best in Israel. It's kind of like specialty coffee, and I asked the girl who worked there to do an interview, and she said like, oh yeah, you can do it with our owner, he will come in 15 minutes. Like in some places, again in Moscow, in Russia, no way that like they will get the owner of the place in the 15 minutes just to talk to you. People like there to keep distance, but it's also about whether you live in the south or in the north. Okay, I tried to get more questions, but since not, I hope you enjoyed the tour, I hope you enjoyed the experience, and yeah, we'll be happy to show you more videos. Thank you very much for joining the tour. Thank you for spending time with us. Let's say goodbye to everyone.
Goodbye.
Thank you very much for watching, and have a nice day.